Quebec is forcing grocery and convenience stores to better communicate their prices to shoppers. Justice Minister Simon Jolin Barrett says that grocery retailers will have to include more information on displays, like the price per unit of measure. They also have to make sure the price for customers is clear to those who don't belong to the store's loyalty reward program. Dr. Sylvain Charlebois joined us for more on what this means for the retail industry.
Well, basically, I think a lot of consumers were confused while visiting grocery stores, browsing products. There's 30,000 different products. It gets confusing out there. And a lot of people weren't sure exactly what the regular price was, what the promotional price is, what's the difference between the two. If you're a member of some loyalty program, what are the benefits? And typically, a confused consumer would actually show up at the at the cashier, and they would find some surprises on their receipts, not knowing exactly how much they would be charged. And the other feature, of course, is whether or not a product is taxable at retail. That's the other thing that is added to these new regulations. And so I think it's actually welcome news by many consumers. I actually testified in October in support of the bill in Quebec at the National Assembly, but I was concerned at some point. I was actually concerned that we would actually add too much information, because too much information sometimes is worse than not enough information. But I do think that Quebec actually has the right balance in terms of the kind of information conveyed to consumers. So far, reviews have been positive, not overwhelmingly positive, but they've been positive so far.
The new rules also cover tipping, requiring tips to be calculated before tax and banning merchants from suggesting tip percentages.
Well, it's both a financial and ethical problem. I would say right now there's lots of confusion. First of all, a lot of people are prompt to tip more with emojis and graphics and things like that. That's off the table, no pun, in Quebec now, which I think is good. It's good practice. But most importantly, it is now illegal in Quebec to actually prompt a tip to the consumer with the amount including taxes. If, let's say, you're taxed 15% and your bill is $100, and if you tip 20%, if you actually tip the amount plus tax, it amounts to an extra $3 instead of $20. You're giving a tip of $23. So the question really, from an ethical perspective, is that where is that $3 going? Is it going to the server, or is it going to the team, or is it going to management? And so the lack of clarity there really was addressed by the Quebec bill, and I think it's actually good practice to do that. The industry, the food service industry, has failed to address this issue, which is now forcing governments to intervene. I suspect that some people will feel that it is an overreach from the Quebec government, but I actually think out there with tips, it's a bit of a mess. There's a lot of tip creeping going on, but some of these practices amount to tipflation, really, and people don't know exactly where the money's going.